Welcome back, everyone. Toyshiz here, and I am back yet again to give you guys another fresh look. And today we are totally checking out the brand new McFarlane Toys' DC Multiverse Mega Figure, CLAYFACE. Been looking forward to this guy ever since he was revealed a few months back. And what a giant figure he is. And if you're wondering, this is the Basil Karlo DC Rebirth version of the character. That's why he has all those spooky extra faces sculpted in every which way. On the back of the packaging, really nice render of the character. He's got some spooky glowing eyes. I'll tell you right now, the actual figure does not have spooky glowing eyes, unfortunately. Now, this figure, along with the Titan Joker, is starting to hit Target stores. That's where I found mine. Just took the barcode in, showed it to the clerk, they scanned it, walked in the back, and came back with one for me. So, hopefully, you'll have the same type of luck. So, this is going to be a blast. Sit back, relax, grab yourself a nice, hot, muddy cup of coffee. This is a look at the brand new McFarlane Toys' DC Multiverse Mega Figure, Basil Karlo, aka CLAYFACE. And while I got all you shape changers here, I just want to say thanks so much for always checking out my DC Multiverse videos. If you haven't already, please do consider subscribing. Old toys, new toys, daily news updates. I guarantee you'll find something here that you like. But now we got some CLAYFACE to talk about. So first and foremost, he stands pretty well in that vanilla pose, right? He does come with a standard DC Multiverse stand. You can utilize it if you'd like. Once you kind of start moving around with his arms, he does kind of get kind of top heavy. And let's just get the elephant in the room out of the way. With the Browns, with the coloring they've chosen, he does get very poopish. And it was kind of like the first and foremost thing that everyone kind of said, right? With just the way he's kind of sculpted, yes, he's very much the poop monster, right? But they have done an excellent job with everything that they have utilized in terms of the sculpture and the texture and everything else. He's very goopy. He's very muddy. He's very sharp. The texturing for days really does cement him as a very cool looking CLAYFACE, and all the different faces that they've utilized, all the different spikes, all the different texturing, all the different little pieces to him. It's very cool. But it doesn't take away from the fact that, yes, the Browns and everything that they have chosen to paint him as, people are right away going to say, yes, he's very much a very poopy looking, droopy CLAYFACE. But you know what? Yeah, he's a cool looking CLAYFACE. I'll give it to him all day. Now, the head on him is very much a cool looking CLAYFACE, and I like the drop down jaw that they've chosen to do. He's creepy looking. He's got these really cool teeth inside the mouth. They've given him a really nice wash where it looks wet. Extra set of teeth every which way. I like that it gives him a different kind of personality. And with the eyes and kind of what they showed on the back, I do wish that his eyes glowed. That would have given him so much more personality. And I like how he does have a swivel in the head. I just wish that it just given him a little bit more rotation, something to do. He does have a very squishy stomach. It's very interesting, right? And it will get kind of cumbersome, but I don't mind it. It does fit with CLAYFACE. You're supposed to be able to just kind of move this guy around. And with CLAYFACE himself, it's not so much the diaper that we've seen with previous DC Multiverse figures. It's kind of interesting in that sense. He's very squishy. It kind of gets not so much annoying, but something that you really kind of have to work with when you want to move him around. But once you kind of figure it out and get him straightened out, it is a fun figure and one that does have a lot of articulation in something that you really didn't really expect to be able to move around quite as much as you kind of thought initially. So yes, it is kind of cumbersome initially, but yeah, it will work with you in that sense. The legs, the arms, are really something that you want to heat up. That's something I will point out. Not so much with a lot of DC Multiverse figures have I said to really heat things up. This guy is incredibly stuck, mainly in the elbows and at the knees. So really go easy with this guy. The shoulders, not so much. The elbows right here, no problem really spinning, but really when you try to move them out and in, definitely heat them up, especially in the wrists. You kind of have to find that sweet spot. But once you kind of got him going and moving, yeah, it was kind of fun to move around and to show off. Now, again, once you kind of move him around, though, you kind of see where the softer parts kind of get disheveled, and you kind of have to fix him and put his legs back in and such. Some people are probably going to be like, yeah, I don't really want to do that. But once you kind of get him going, yeah, it's kind of fun, right? And I will tell you this. You kind of have to get the legs positioned oh so right. He does get kind of top heavy, right? You get the arms up. You really do have to work with his abdomen, with his ab crunch, really kind of get his legs in a position where the flatness works with the middle part, works with his legs and his arms to really get him in a good position where he doesn't fall forward, fall backward. And once you do, yeah, you can get him in a lot of great poses. So he does work in that sense once you kind of fidget with him, once you kind of get him going. Because if you really just have him in that vanilla pose, yeah, it does work in that sense. But this ultimately is one of those figures where the lack of accessories is really kind of what brings this figure down. It's Clayface. You expect to have attachments where you're lunging at Batman with a big mace ball or something like a big battering ram or something like that to smash Batman or his enemies. It's really those lack of accessories that ultimately bring this figure down. The paint on him, in certain aspects, he has some wonkiness to him. Like there's splattering of orange every which way, which doesn't really do much to add to it. It kind of adds to that poopy nature of it, you know what I mean? And in some aspects up top, he gets kind of gappy. For me, that's really not a big deal, but it's just something to point out. Ultimately, he's a cool figure. He does have some really cool articulation points to him. Yes, you'll have to kind of fidget with him, especially more so in the torso, where he has more of the softer goods. I like the jaw. I like everything to him in that sense, but it's the lack of accessories where this figure really kind of fails. To compare him to a previous Clayface, the prior Mattel Build-A-Figure, right? One of them is kind of like a droopy Clayface. The other one is kind of like a hard Clayface, if you catch my drift, right? I think it all kind of falls in the coloring, right? Now, I'm used to Batman the Animated Series, and if you look at the coloring, Clay has a certain texture, a certain look, and I think that Batman the Animated Series with the orangeness of that really hits the Clay aspect, where if you go too far into the brown, that's where it gonna goes more in that odd end sort of poop nature. You know what I mean? So it's not terrible, but it just kind of hits that, well, everyone's gonna think a certain way. So I think that this new Clayface is a bit of a step up, but I wouldn't say it's a vast improvement. When looking at this new Clayface towards McFarlane Toys Batman figures, yeah, it's definitely cool to have a larger Clayface. Clayface is always supposed to be larger. He's always supposed to be towering over Batman, and in that sense, yeah, they definitely nailed that. It's always nice to see. Even though this Clayface is the more modern take on the character, it's definitely a cool take. And if you were looking to maybe grab this Clayface for your NECA shelf or maybe your Mezco shelf, yeah, he would definitely fit in with that as well. In all honesty, this is actually a pretty cool Clayface, right? For the price point, you're getting a pretty hefty, heavy figure. But where this figure really lacks is in the accessories. You really expect a figure like Clayface, a character like Clayface, to have some swap out accessories, to have shape-changing abilities. When you compare it to the prior Mattel figure, that figure was, before Toys R Us went under, it was supposed to have two figures at Toys R Us. We're supposed to have some swap out accessories, right, to go with that Build-A-Figure, which were never released. And that's where this figure really could have shined, because it's such a missed opportunity. Clayface is that character that really needs that shape-changing ability to thrive, to have that posability, going after Batman, going after those characters. He more than makes up for it in the sculpt. The paint, say what you will. The colors, say what you will. I actually really like the way that this turned out. I like the way he has all the faces sculpted in, the teeth, every which way, the posability, the little soft goods and things to him. It really works for me in that sense. He really would have benefited from having some swap out hands and such to really bring out the Clayface nature to him. I'll tell you what, going forward, if they ever want to do some more Clayface figures, I would love CLAYFACE 3, right? Preston Payne or any of the Mud Pack. That would just be solid because they've never really done those characters, and that would just be some awesome additions to the whole DC Multiverse lineup. But as always, I am curious to know what you guys think about this CLAYFACE. Is it for you? Will you be grabbing? Comment below, let me know. Let's talk everything CLAYFACE. And I'm going to leave you guys with that. As always, drink some great coffee, eat some great food, but most importantly, remember, when it comes to CLAYFACE, he always needs swap out hands, accessories, what have you. And when you do, let me know what you found. I'll talk to you guys soon. Adios.